Dare to Share is a card game by Dose of Society, designed to get people talking and truly connecting. I'm giving it a twist, turning the questions inward to help you connect with yourself. Because when you're out of sync with you, connecting with others gets a whole lot harder. The deck for the Dare to Share cards come in 3 colors. Green, which means that it's a fairly easy share of yourself. Orange means it's a little bit more, and then red means you're going a lot deeper in your share. I have picked a orange card, and the idea is that I'm going to respond and give an example of a share, and then you will be prompted and dared to share with yourself in a similar fashion. And it's not just about doing the share, it's also about identifying how you feel in that moment of whatever you're sharing and kind of digging a little bit deeper into the feel behind the share. So here we go. Let's get started. Who was your first love, and what will you always remember about them? First love. First love. Gosh, I can remember being 11 and falling in love with Sean Cox. He was my friend Tracy's older brother. And when I say older, I think he was 13 at the time. And the reason I know he was 13 is because we had jerseys we wore for basketball and we had to supply whatever number we wanted. And I said, I want 13. And I did it because of his age. And, looking back on it, 13, they may have thought I was unlucky. I don't know. I don't believe in that stuff. But yeah, I chose 13 because of him. But you know what? When I think about it, really think about it, that was a crush. So I need to differentiate a crush from love. And for me, like someone who I truly, truly loved, the first person, that would be much later, like several years later. And his name was Richard Moyce. And Richard Rich, we called him Rich Moyce. He, gosh, we met cruising with my girlfriend, Jill. This was back in the early 80s, and cruising the El Camino was the thing to do on the weekends. It's so silly when you think back on it. But he was out there and he had the nicest car. It was a red Camaro with a half vinyl top, and his license plates were LT73. So now you know the year of his car. And so what would happen is, like, if you found someone that you wanted to talk to, you'd pull over at a parking lot and chat. And so my friend was so into him. And we decided to go to Lyons Restaurants. It's a local place where all the cruisers went, and get something to eat. I told him I worked at a bank and I was a vault teller. So the next day, inside, so I got to give a little context. At this point in time, you didn't have an ATM. So if you didn't have time to go to the bank, you put it in an envelope, your money or your check with your deposit slip, you put it in an envelope in this slot. And it was the same slot that vendors would put their deposit bags filled with cash. And so every morning as a vault teller, I had to go in, grab all of the deposits and process them. And there was a letter from Rich, and it was just so sweet. And so that got us started. And then we talked and talked and talked. But unfortunately, he was not in the religion that I was raised in. I was raised in a very strict religion. I'm not in the religion anymore, but I was pretty hardcore into it, and my family was for sure. And even though I wasn't hardcore, apparently it wasn't hardcore enough to keep me from falling in love with this man. And I, I did, and he was very refreshing for me. I had been sexually abused as a young girl, and so I think my whole life I kind of saw myself as, like, men were just sexually attracted to me, and he was attracted to me. Not saying he wasn't physically attracted, but I just remember him noticing me the qualities, the things that he liked about me. And I loved how he made me feel seen. I loved that, he thought I was all of these other things than cute or blonde or blue-eyed. Even it was just so refreshing and so important to me. So that was what I'll always remember about him, was how he made me feel, the letters that he would leave for me and the cards and our long conversations and just how sweet he was. After we broke up, I was heartbroken. I would see his car sometime around town because it was, hard to miss. And I would just break down in tears as it was just so hard to not be with him. And I remember um, he had he had gotten involved with someone after me and they broke up and he called me. And I remember being on the phone just bawling, saying, I didn't break up with you because I didn't love you. I broke up with you because of my religion. I still love you and I can't hear from you or see you because this is just too hard. Boy, this is bringing back all of those feelings of sacrificing for something that I thought was really, really important. Um, and, all of those little things that I needed at that time to begin to truly feel love. And it's still important to me to be seen. Like those ingredients of my ability to feel love is still there. In fact, it's part of why I love my husband, because he loves me for me and he likes all my good parts and my bad parts and um, accepts that. And for me to feel love, truly feel it, that's really important. So I'm gonna do the same now for you. I would like for you to ask yourself, and I want you to say it out loud because I don't know if you noticed, but as I was talking, I kind of like had one thought and then another about love, and things just were coming up. And when you talk out loud, you are engaging your sensory system, hearing. And so it's different than when you just think it to yourself and think through something. Saying it out loud matters. As I said in my very first video, I wrote my book and it was much different. I made a lot of changes after I read it out loud because it feels different. If you have to, go someplace private and ask yourself this question out loud. Who was your first love and what will you always remember about them? And then after you go through that share with yourself, go to the emotion of love, what they gave you in the way of ingredients. And then even take it a little bit further, like I did. Is that ingredient still important to you? And you could even go it further to say, are those things that that person did or what the circumstances in which you met, their family or like whatever played a factor, identifying them as the ingredients that you need for love. If you're not in love right now, if you're not in a relationship, can help you hone in on what to look for in the future. And if you are in a relationship and it could be struggling, it maybe can help you to refocus on the things that your partner provides you that you've forgotten, the things that you married them for that's still there, but your focus is shift. Dare to share, yes, with others, but most of all, with yourself. Dare to Share is owned and copyrighted by Dose of Society. To purchase the card game, go to share.shop. Please note, I do not receive any compensation for promoting this game. I do it because I love it and I think you can benefit from it.